The AK-47 was never meant to be elegant. It was meant to work. Born out of the ashes of World War II, when the Soviet Union had learned the brutal lesson that wars are not won by precision alone but by endurance, simplicity, and numbers, the AK-47 became a symbol of survival. Mikhail Kalashnikov designed it for one purpose: to fire every time, in mud, snow, sand, or blood. Chambered in 7.62 by 39 mm, the AK-47 delivered heavy, slow-moving rounds that hit hard and kept going even when everything else failed. In the hands of a poorly trained conscript, it still worked. In frozen Siberian winters or Afghan deserts, it still worked. That reliability turned the AK-47 into a legend, but legends don't always win future wars. By the late 1960s, the battlefield was changing. Soldiers were no longer expected to fight primarily at short range. Optics were improving. Infantry combat was stretching out to longer distances, and suppression, keeping the enemy's head down, was becoming more important than individual kill shots. The AK-47's biggest strength, its powerful 7.62 round, was also becoming its biggest weakness. The recoil was heavy. Fully automatic fire was hard to control. Soldiers sprayed bullets but hit less. Carrying ammunition was exhausting, and magazines emptied fast. The rifle was devastating up close, but war was no longer only close. At the same time, the Soviet Union was watching its greatest rival evolve. The United States had moved from the M14 to the M16, adopting a smaller 5.56 by 45 mm cartridge. NATO doctrine emphasized lighter weapons, higher accuracy, and soldiers carrying more ammunition. Soviet analysts paid attention, not because they admired the West, but because they feared falling behind. They saw American soldiers firing controllable bursts, staying accurate under stress, and carrying nearly double the ammunition load. The AK-47, for all its toughness, suddenly looked like a blunt instrument in a world demanding sharper tools. This realization led to a quiet but massive shift in Soviet military thinking. Instead of asking, which rifle hits hardest, they began asking, which rifle keeps more bullets on target? The answer pointed away from 7.62 by 39 mm and toward a smaller, faster round. In 1974, the Soviet Union officially adopted the AK-74, chambered in 5.45 by 39 mm. On the surface, it looked similar to the AK-47, same rugged shape, same long-stroke gas system, same brutal simplicity. But internally, and doctrinally, it represented a revolution. The 5.45 round was lighter, flatter shooting, and far easier to control. Recoil dropped dramatically. Soldiers could fire in automatic or burst modes and actually keep rounds on target instead of painting the sky. Where AK-47 fire often climbed uncontrollably, the AK-74 stayed level. This meant more hits, less wasted ammunition, and greater battlefield efficiency. A soldier could carry more magazines without increasing weight, stay in the fight longer, and suppress the enemy more effectively. War, the Soviets realized, was becoming a game of sustained pressure rather than raw impact. Then came Afghanistan, and with it, proof. Soviet troops deployed with AK-74s began reporting better accuracy in mountainous terrain, longer engagement ranges, and less fatigue. The 5.45 mm round earned a fearsome reputation, especially due to its yawing behavior inside soft targets, which caused devastating internal damage. Mujahideen fighters nicknamed it the poison bullet, not because it was chemically toxic, but because of how unpredictably it tore through the body. The AK-74 wasn't just efficient, it was psychologically terrifying. Yet the AK-47 didn't disappear. And that's important. Russia didn't abandon it because it was bad. They moved on because warfare evolved. The AK-47 remained superior in certain conditions: dense jungle, urban fighting, extreme neglect. Its heavier round punched through cover better and retained momentum through obstacles. That's why it stayed popular with militias, insurgents, and irregular forces worldwide. But for a modern army planning large-scale, organized warfare, controllability and logistics mattered more than brute force. Another key reason for the shift was training. As the Soviet military expanded, it relied on conscripts with limited time to master their weapons. The AK-74 was easier to shoot well. Less recoil meant less training time. Faster learning meant faster deployment. In a system designed around mass mobilization, that mattered more than nostalgia for an older round. By the time the Cold War was nearing its end, the decision was irreversible. Factories retooled. Ammunition lines shifted. Doctrine rewrote itself. The AK-74 became the standard not because it replaced the AK-47's legend, but because it adapted that legend to modern war. Reliability stayed. Simplicity stayed. But efficiency took the lead. Today, when people ask why Russia moved on from the AK-47, the answer isn't that the old rifle failed. It's that it succeeded too well for a different era. The AK-47 was built for chaos, desperation, and survival. The AK-74 was built for control, coordination, and modern battlefield reality. One is a hammer. The other is a scalpel that still hits like a hammer. Russia didn't move on because the AK-47 was obsolete. They moved on because war itself had changed, and only those who adapt survive.